Thank you, Adrian. A very good evening to you wherever and however you're listening to Talksport. And so to the football, and to a tournament that features lasts and firsts at its heart. This 22nd FIFA World Cup will be the last to feature 32 nations, as we'll have 48 teams participating across 3 countries over the Atlantic in North America come 2026. For now, attention here at Al Bayt is firmly fixed on a host nation taking its World Cup opening bow. South Africa became the first country to fail to get out of their group when hosting back in 2010, and the smart money suggests Qatar, so inexperienced at senior international level, will suffer the same fate here as Senegal and Netherlands lie in wait for games 2 and 3. So perhaps this opener against Ecuador, who are back at a World Cup having missed out on Russia 4 years ago, represents Qatar's best chance of getting points on the board. The Qataris have spent the past 12 years building towards this moment and have guessed it in tournaments like Copa America in recent times to try and get to the pace of competitive international football. Now, the acid test. Felix Sanchez, who's been coaching in Qatar for 16 years, is in charge of the national team, and he names a strong lineup of 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2 if they're defending. And at the front of that, the strike partnership of Almoez Ali and Akram Afif may well dovetail nicely. Said Al-Shaib is the goalkeeper, Ghulam Kuki, Bassam Al-Rawi and Abdel Karim Hassan in the back 3. Roro and Homan Ahmed are the wing-backs right and left. Karim Boudiaf, the experienced captain Hassan Al-Haydos and Abdulaziz Hatem in midfield, and the aforementioned Ali and Afif lead the line for Qatar. As for Ecuador, well, Hernan Galindez is given the nod in goal by the coach Gustavo Alvaro, and in doing so becomes the oldest ever Ecuadorian to play at a World Cup at the ripe old age of 35 years and 235 days. Jackson Mendes, a youngster, is preferred in central midfield to the man that would usually ply that trade, Carlos Gruezo of Augsburg. And Enner Valencia, once of West Ham and Everton, is the captain of Ecuador and part of a front 3. Hernan Galindez then the goalkeeper. Angelo Preciado, Felix Torres, Piero Hincapié and Pervis Estupinian of Brighton in the back 4. Gonzalo Plata, Jackson Mendes, Moises Caicedo, again of Brighton in midfield. Enner Valencia plays up front along with Michael Estrada and Romario Ibarra. The next 28 days of action will eventually bring us a world champion of the beautiful game. Whether a new name is engraved or someone more familiar remains to be seen, but Talksport will bring you every dramatic, pivotal moment that leads to one captain lifting the sporting world's most iconic trophy, as only Talksport can, with knowledge, passion, insight and just that plain old sense of delight that we all have in bringing this tournament to you in your kitchen, your car, office, dog walk, wherever it may be. We are underway at the Al Bayt Stadium. Qatar in all maroon, that is also their nickname, and Natri of Ecuador playing in all yellow. They're kicking from right to left as we look down from this top 3rd tier of the Al Bayt Stadium. A little foul against Roro as he was brought down by Pervis Estupinian. And we say once again a good evening to Dean Ashton on Talksport.
Yeah, good evening everyone. It's brilliant to get the football going, and those players will be delighted as well. The nerves must just be incredible to be at a World Cup representing your country. Who can execute? Who can be the calmest? Who can deliver under the severest of pressures?
Ghulam Kuki playing at the centre of the 3 centre-halves for Qatar, rolls it into Hassan. Afif, who likes to come deep and get involved in the play, the other striker. He was the assist king when Qatar won the Asian Cup in 2019 with 10 assists in that tournament. Name to listen out for. Kuki again drives it out to Afif, who's hugging the left-hand touchline, cuts in field, runs into traffic, and he was brilliantly robbed by Jackson Mendes, doing his defensive midfield duties superbly early on for Ecuador. And now Estupinian comes away down the left-hand side. The referee, though, from Italy, Daniele Orsato, brings the play back for a free kick to Ecuador, back 10 yards inside the Qatar half of the field, just down in front of us. 0-0 on Talksport with a minute and a half gone.
Yeah, we'll expect Ecuador. They're a physical, they're an aggressive team in the way that they close you down. Afif there just thought he had a moment to get his head up. He didn't. He was wired into straight away.
Caicedo went down. He was barged into by Roro. the right wing back for Qatar. So Estepinian standing over this free kick, which is, as I say, just to the left of the centre circle, 10 yards inside the Qatar half of the field. Ecuador attacking the end where the most vociferous Qatar support is. Plenty of yellow Ecuadorian shirts at the end that the South Americans are defending. They look forward to willing that ball into the back of the net to our right in the second half. But Estepinian still lining up this free kick, drills it towards the right-hand corner of the box. Out comes the keeper, Al-Shaif, makes a complete mess of it. There's a bit of head tennis and a volley across the edge of goal. And Valencia heads Ecuador in front. Inside 3 minutes, the man is in red-hot form in Turkish football. Puts Ecuador 1-up after some dreadful goalkeeping by Al-Shaif in the box. Eventually was headed back across goal by Felix Torres, and Valencia nodded it home right in front of goal. Great start for Latri. It's Qatar 0, Ecuador 1.
And absolutely, we can have a look at the goalkeeper, Al-Shaif. He does try and come and punch it away. I'm afraid he just doesn't. He does get half a fist on it, and it kind of ricochets then off the head. And Felix Torres, and Torres is just alive to it. When it's headed back, he's trying to score with a wild overhead kick, and he actually then shanks it across the goal. But as every good striker should be, especially in the World Cup, Ene Valencia is there just to nod in from 2 yards out. Big mistake from the goalkeeper, punished by Valencia.
Scoring his 36th international goal. He's top of the Ecuador all-time list, is Ene Valencia. And as I mentioned, he's in brilliant form for Fenerbahce in the Turkish Super League. 13 goals already this season before coming to this World Cup. We're just waiting for VAR to make absolutely sure, I think, that this goal can be given. But I didn't see anything wrong with that.
I'm sure they'll be looking at
the official
challenge on the goalkeeper, whether there was any impediment whatsoever.
Well, the whistles go around the stadium, putting more in hope than expectation from the home fans that somehow this goal might be overturned. Gustavo Alvaro just waits, hands in pockets. The Ecuadorian coach, Ene Valencia, just doing the TV sign to his coach. He says, "That what's happening?" I really don't know what they're checking for.
There's a goal check on the big screen.
Oh, it's been disallowed. The goal has been disallowed. Now I wonder whether it's deemed that Al-Shaif was barged or fouled as he went up for the original free kick. But the goal's been chalked off. Offside, in fact, has been given as the reason for the chalking off of the goal. And delight for that Qatari support behind the goal to our left. The ball came in, there was no offside when the ball was originally delivered. Now, was Valencia offside when the ball was hooked across the face of goal? No, there were two players in front of him. Why has that been given for offside? I don't quite know, unless I see the strike of the free kick once again. But offside is the ruling that's been put up on the giant screen above us.
He then took the free kick from the 6-yard line, or just in front of the 6-yard line, so it can't be from the original free kick because they're on the edge of the 18-yard box if they're offside at that moment, unless it is for a foul on the goalkeeper, but it just hasn't said that on the screens that we can see.
It said offside on the screens, but I saw no sign of that. But it's all semantics. The goal's been chalked off, and we stay at 0-0 on Talksport with 6 minutes gone now at Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar at the start of 64 games that will bring you across the Talksport network right the way through to mid-December. Qatar coming for the first time. The ball skips away from Almoez Ali and heads through to Enan Galindez, the now oldest Ecuadorian player in their history. Out to the right-hand side it goes, and Ecuador just keeping the ball in their own half at the moment. Torres finds his centre-half partner Hincapié.
We've got a great view, by the way, of the system that Qatar are playing, with that back five spreading right across the pitch, the three midfielders in front of them, and then Afif and Ali just looking to not really press, but just stop that ball going into midfield.
Yeah, they wait around the edge of the centre circle, don't they? Only then will they engage. Given away by Valencia, who thought he'd scored for Ecuador, but it stays at 0-0 if you're just tuning in to our first World Cup commentary here on Talksport. Dean Ashton and Ian Dancer with you at the Al Bayt Stadium, and a chance for Qatar to settle in possession. Al Haydos, their captain, rolls it back to Al Rawi, tries a diagonal ball up to halfway, but Preciado, the right back for Ecuador, heads it back into the Qatari half, headed up in the air by Homam Ahmed, but Ecuador win back the second ball once again.
Oh, I mean, they're so good at that, honestly. That counter press from Ecuador.
Estepinian with the ball up to the edge of the area, guided down by Valencia, lovely downward header as he was facing away from goal, but neither of his strike partners, Ibarra or Estrada, were running onto it. Goes out of play for a throw, 0-0.
No, I don't think they thought he was going to win the header, and then he just manages to put his neck to the side and head it down, and was expecting that support, and it just wasn't there. But just going back to that pressing, that's what they've been. I think they've surprised teams with the way that when they lose the ball, they win it back so quick, so aggressively. It's something that Qatar are going to have to contend with.
Preciado with a throw, level with the edge of the area for Ecuador, but it's cleared away by Qatar. Comes back out to Preciado, right hand side, deep cross, looking to be brought down by Estrada on this near side, the left. Deafening noise inside the stadium. Home fans really making their voices heard. Romario Ibarra now, left hand side for Ecuador, rolls it back to Estepinian. Moses Caicedo takes over. Such an excellent spell for Brighton, coming in towards the end of last season. I think I saw his first start for Brighton against Arsenal at the Emirates, and he was outstanding. Keeper for Qatar elects to punch Al Shaib from a fairly harmless ball tossed into the penalty area, driven into the captain Al Haydos, but he loses out, and Ibarra with his blue boots will work it in field to Caicedo, just lays it off, and Ecuador will have it on halfway with Hincapié. Estepinian trying to thread it through to Ibarra, left-hand corner of the area. Qatar repelled it. Here's Valencia cutting in from the left-hand side as he likes to do, and wins a free kick off Al Rawi, and a chance to send this into the Qatari box. We played 9.5 minutes on Talksport in the World Cup opener. It's 0-0.
That's a big feature of Ecuador's play going forwards, is that left-hand side. They look to overload it, whether that's Caicedo, who will look to burst from midfield, or Valencia will drop into that position there, desperately looking for Estepinian to be the one that overlaps.
The semi-automated offside just shown that there was an Ecuadorian leg offside when that ball was initially struck for the free kick into the area. Meantime, Estepinian's lining up this free kick. Qatar holding the line at the edge of the 18-yard box, comes into the near post. It's cleared somewhat scrappily, and then Al Haydos had an easy ball to play in field to find Hatem, but didn't find him, and Ecuador had it back down the right-hand side. Transfer room for Preciado. Good block though from Hassan to put it out for a throw to Ecuador on that far side. Stays 0-0 on Talksport.
Well, just the way Qatar tend to set up defensively, and they're narrow with the two forwards without the wide players. It means there's so much room for Ecuador's fullbacks. They're going to have lots of space to get in, to run into, get hold of the ball, look to cross, look to combine.
Preciado again with a long throw into the box, looking for Estrada, headed behind by the Qataris for the first corner of the game, which goes Ecuador's way down to our left-hand side. 0-0 on Talksport. Dean Ashton, former England international, alongside me, Ian Danton. Don't forget England in action tomorrow. It starts at noon on Talksport. 3 games tomorrow: England, Iran, Senegal, Netherlands and Wales at this time tomorrow against the USA. That also is live on Talksport. Gonzalo Plata getting ready to drive in this first corner of the game. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger from Plata. There's a clutch of players in both maroon and yellow just behind the penalty spot as Plata looks across. Not too much crowding of the goalkeeper from the Ecuadorian front players, as Al Shaib looked very nervous at that early free kick that we thought had seen Ecuador take the lead. Now we're ready to go, and and the referee suddenly says there's a bit too much movement around the goalkeeper for his liking. Italian referee moves away again, and Plata can strike the corner kick into the near post, headed out strongly by Arawi for a throw. Good defending at the near post for Qatar, 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant the way he just stepped in front, great body position as well, and the way that he just could see the attacker and the ball and then went and attacked it. Too many times defenders goes back to play.
0-0 here. And don't forget Talksport Breakfast with Laura Woods and Ali McCoist, live here in Qatar from 6 a.m. in the morning. The best way to start the build-up to England against Iran. And Wyatt Jordan as well. Just basically stay with us for the moment you wake up, and then we'll take you to England's opener against Iran. Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce, your commentary team. Adrian will be there too. 0-0 in this opener, and a poor crossfield pass from Torres, intended for Caicedo, but a good 10 yards behind him. Gives Qatar a throw on this near side, their right, midway point of the Ecuador half. We played 13 minutes on Talksport, and it was the right leg of Michael Estrada that was offside from the original strike of the free kick. Falls at the back with Kuki, squares the ball for Abdel Karim Hassan. Ball worked into the centre of the field for Boudia. Back it goes to the goalkeeper, Al-Shaib. Al-Rawi drives a fierce ball downfield, looking to get Ali in behind the two centre-halves for Ecuador, but it's easily repelled.
Well, it needs to be better than that, doesn't it? If you are going to utilise the two forward players and play those long passes, there's got to be a bit more quality to it rather than just hitting and hoping.
Flick on from Estrada, looking for Valencia, but there was a offside flag up against Valencia as the ball was flicked on, and so Qatar will have a free kick. Qatar 5 unbeaten going into this World Cup. They won their last 4. Their last defeat was against Canada in September. Republic of Ireland fans will remember putting 4 past them last year as they travelled the world to play various friendlies. They've got some defending to do here as Estrada picks the ball up, tries to throw it through to Valencia. He's running through the edge of the area, goes round, the keeper goes down, heading off the line from Ibarra, and a penalty's given for the foul by the keeper. And a yellow card is going to be issued to the Qatari keeper for the foul. And now Ecuador have a penalty kick. They had a goal disallowed early in the piece, but now they've got a chance to score from 12 yards, and Valencia's not going to pass up this opportunity having been fouled.
No, and they just cut right through the middle of Qatar. It was played in, it was a brilliant position that Estrada picked up on the half turn. Nobody picked him up in that number 10 position. He turned, he played a lovely weighted pass into the diagonal run of Valencia, and the keeper Al-Shaib, he just hesitated, and that hesitation just allowed Valencia to just take the ball past him, and he was easily brought down then by the goalkeeper. If he hadn't have hesitated and he'd really committed to that, I think he'd have got to it before Valencia, but then he was clever, jinked it past him and was brought down.
They've only just retrieved the ball from behind that goal to our left-hand side, and Valencia now places it down on the spot. Al-Shaib waits. Can he atone for the error? The Qatari keeper. Valencia waits for the referee's whistle. Hands on hips, just inside the 18-yard line. Qatari fans behind the goal, trying to put Valencia off as he attempts to give Ecuador the lead in this opener. It's Valencia against Al-Shaib, right-footed, sends it the wrong way, and that is 1-0 to Ecuador. And Valencia does finally get off the mark in this World Cup. The one remaining player in the starting 11 that played for Ecuador at this World Cup 8 years ago sends them on their way. Qatar 0, Ecuador 1.
You can tell he's experienced, you can tell he's played in a World Cup before, because that was so calm, that penalty. He just stepped up, little few chinky steps, looked as if he was going to really strike it into that far corner, and instead he just side-footed it once the goalkeeper had dived. And they deserve it. They've been excellent at the start of this game, Ecuador. Had one chalked off, very unlucky too. Deserve to be 1-0 ahead.
Quarter of an hour played, and Valencia gets his 4th World Cup goal to put Ecuador 1 up. And I mentioned before kickoff that this was going to be the acid test for Felix Sanchez and Qatar. Now that we're really down to serious business, and they've got to find a way back into this game. That's the first goal that Qatar have conceded in this stadium. They played 3 games previously here and beat the UAE, Iraq and Bahrain all to 0. And they're coming forward into the air with Roro, and he tries to get down to the ball, and he was losing his footing, and a goal kick has been given in the end. In fact, it might be an offside that's been given. But Roro was trying to drive into the inside right channel into the area, but just couldn't keep his footing. And it's a free kick in the end to Ecuador, who lead by a goal to 0 with 17 gone on Talksport.
Now, it's been an excellent start to the game. I think the energy that Ecuador have shown, I think, doesn't allow the game to sit still, doesn't allow it to stagnate. They just do not stop. They've got that high line that you talked about, Dance, and they really press.
So a free kick downfield from the goalkeeper Galindez. Drops in midfield for the goal scorer Valencia. Hooks it out to the right back Preciado. Ball played in field and back to halfway, where it's passed between the two centre halves, Torres and Hincapié. Now Ibarra on this near touchline, being watched by Roro. Valencia comes out to join him on this near touchline. And even though they're 1 down, it's the Qatari fans you can hear making the most noise away to our left-hand side. Plenty of noise from the Ecuador support to our right when they scored. Plenty of encouragement for the hosts to get back into this. Moses Caicedo, lovely ball into the centre circle for Estrada, who holds off Hatem, who fouled him, and Ecuador get a free kick inside the centre circle.
Just looking at the fact that the way they've set up Qatar, they've got Karim Budak just in that midfield role, but he keeps springing out to the
lovely ball down the left-hand side of the box for Estepinian, gets to the byline, pulls it across, and the header over the bar. Collision with the goalkeeper. I think it was Estrada who collided with the goalkeeper as he tried to get on top of the ball that was floated across the face of goal by Estepinian. Estrada's lying in a heap inside the net. Al-Shaib just sitting up on his goal line. But a great ball over the top, got Estepinian in behind to try to make it 2-0.
Yeah, it was a great ball, wasn't it? But he'd just gone a fraction early. Estepinian, who will do that all night. As soon as that ball is played into midfield, one of the wide players looks to go inside and he will go. And then he played it in, and you're right, just tried to get the header, couldn't avoid the collision with the goalkeeper. Luckily, both players seem okay.
Cost Brighton and Hove Albion £15 million from Villarreal. He played over 1,500 minutes in the World Cup qualifiers, did Pervis Estepinian, more than any other Ecuadorian. And it's a right old slog, the South American qualifiers, 18 games. Ecuador's home record was pretty good. They only lost once in those qualifiers at home. Of course, they play at altitude there. People often wonder whether Ecuador can manage a tournament at sea level. Well, the free kick has gone straight back to them. Ball's in the area, but excellent defending to bring it away by Homam Ahmed, the left back, just to help Qatar out, because the free kick clearance from Qatar went straight to the yellow shirts, and it's just going to drift out of play for a throw-in on the far side. Preciado trying to keep it in play. 20 minutes gone on Talksport. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you. It's Qatar 0, Ecuador 1. Enner Valencia with a penalty around the quarter-hour mark after he was brought down by Saad Al-Shaib, who was booked for that challenge. And we've seen nothing really from Qatar in their attacking third, and they've just given away another needless free kick, and a yellow card's been administered as well by referee Osato, as Valencia again was the target for the challenge. And it's Almoez Ali who's received the yellow card just for catching Valencia just below the knee. Free kick, 1-0 Ecuador.
Yeah, he didn't get the ball, but I'm not sure he made much contact. I think he's a little bit unlucky there. If anything, it was a graze rather than any real contact on Valencia, who went down holding his calf, but he's a little bit unlucky there. I mean, look, he's trying to do his defensive work as a forward, and as we know, we're not very good at that.
So a second booking of the game for Qatar, and another free kick to face. This is about 15 yards inside the Qatar half, to the right for Ecuador. Torres, Estrada and Ibarra waiting for the centre to the far post. Estrada tries to head it back across to the edge of the area. Bounces for Alheidos, tries to knock it down for Ahmed, but it's won back again, strongly. Preciado puts a deep ball to the far post. Estrada nods it down, looking for his teammate Valencia, but it's cleared away by Roro. But nobody on halfway for Qatar, so it just trickles all the way through to Galindez, the Ecuadorian goalkeeper. 1-0.
Yeah, they've not offered anything, have they, yet? I think physically they're struggling against Ecuador, especially the two forward players. They're not the biggest in stature, so if that ball's played up, they're not strong enough to get hold of it, and the quality hasn't been there to put them in behind or into feet.
These two teams have met before, and the last time they met, it was 4-3 to Qatar in a friendly back in 2018. Ali and Afif and Alheidos, who all played tonight, all scored that evening for the Qataris. Ecuador in possession with Estrada, but he runs straight out of play right in front of Felix Sanchez, who's very animated down there. The Qatari coach, graduate of the La Masia Academy in Barcelona, been coaching in Qatar for 16 years, and he's been in charge of the national team for a good 5 or 6 years. Having originally coached the under-19s, and he sees his team win a throw as Roro protects the ball from Ibarra, but the referee telling Roro to move back a good 2 or 3 yards for where he wants to take the throw. 23 minutes gone, so we're midway through the first half. And the World Cup opener live on Talksport from Al Bayt Stadium, about 40 minutes drive north of Doha. It's Qatar 0, Ecuador 1. Enner Valencia, who had a goal ruled out by VAR in the early stages for offside in the build-up, put Ecuador ahead from the penalty spot. And here comes Buelem Kuki for Qatar, the centre-half, coming through the centre circle, dispossessed. A bit of a hurry clearance from Al-Rawi, but it will break for Qatar. And Hassan plays the ball into Afif, who gets the ball back just shy of the halfway line. Now he can conjure up a killer pass if he wants to, but he flicks it to his right instead for his captain Alheidos. Now it's on halfway with Boudiaf, and he looks to float the ball out to the left-hand side for Ahmed. Good header down, tries to get Abdulaziz Hatem away down the left-hand side, but Ecuador clear their lines, and it bounces over the Qatar defence and almost allowed Ecuador in behind, but covering well was Kuki, and then a foul by Ahmed on the far side against Preciado gives Ecuador a free kick, and the South Americans very much in control here, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, the Qatari players. They must be nervous, they're hosts, there's a lot of expectation, of course, with being hosts, and they haven't been able to put 2 or 3 passes together. Afif's the one, isn't he? He's the one that's looked the calmest. When he has got the ball, it's almost like, hey, just let's calm down, play a few passes together. It's all a bit panicky still at the moment.
Ecuador trying to come forward with Romario Ibarra. Ball flicks off his head. Qatar have it at the right-hand corner of their own penalty area, but it's very scrappy as they try and get it clear. And Roro and Alheidos made a right mess of that, and it's back with the centre-halves of Ecuador on halfway. Felix Torres out to Preciado, the right-back, just on halfway. Tries to play a 1-2, doesn't quite come off, but Torres so strong to get in front of Afif and keep the move going for Ecuador. Plata cutting in from the right-hand side, but he's dispossessed. And Boudiaf now tries to bring it away tight to the far left-hand touchline for Qatar, and he wins the throw. And a bit of encouragement as Qatar try and bring the ball forward, and Boudiaf urging his teammates to pick it up a bit here. 26 minutes gone, 1-0 Ecuador.
Yeah, they're being outworked, they're being muscled off the ball by Ecuador, and I think that's what he's getting at. We need to be a little bit stronger, a bit braver.
Ball bounces in the centre of the Qatari half, touched in field by Estepinian, and touched back to Hincapié. Estepinian again, midway point of his own half. Alheidos was there in front of him, tries to release Ibarra down the left-hand side, but that's come to be dealt with at the back by Al-Rawi. but they again can't clear the ball and find a teammate downfield, and it's another Ecuadorian throw. Don't forget, once the World Cup is done, we've got Premier League back from Boxing Day onwards. Every Premier League game when it returns on Boxing Day, plus the 27th and the 28th of December. You've got the likes of Brentford, Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham, Villa, Liverpool, Manchester United, Nottingham Forest, all to come on Boxing Day when the Premier League reconvenes. Just check the live games tab, by the way, and you can see when all our games for the World Cup are on. When you download the Talksport app for free to your mobile device, you can check out all the games that we've got. 3 games tomorrow, and then 4 games today for the rest of the week. And starting at 10 a.m. in the morning from Tuesday through to Saturday. 10 a.m, 1 p.m, 4 p.m, 7 p.m, the times to remember for kickoffs in these group stages. 1-0 to Ecuador. 27 and a half minutes gone, and Ecuador in possession. And it's Jackson Mendes who finds Caicedo, sitting very deep. Jackson Mendes almost splitting the 2 centre halves of Ecuador. Now Torres hits a long diagonal ball downfield looking for Valencia. Can't deal with the first ball, but loses the second. Ibarra tries a snapshot from 25 yards out, and he gets it all wrong, and it's gone out of play. And Qatar will get the restart. 1-0 Ecuador lead.
Yeah, equally, Ecuador have to be patient. I think they will have the space. Both fullbacks are free whenever they want them because of the way Qatar are setting up defensively.
Now Roro is called by Caicedo, and he gets a yellow card, the Brighton midfielder, for just catching the Qatari number 2. He's been told to settle down by Daniele Orsato, our Italian referee, and Qatar will have a free kick just shy of the halfway line.
But also showing Qatar there that they have got a different way that they can play as well. When the goalkeeper was taking the goal kick, the 2 centre-backs, 2 widest centre-backs drop really deep and close to the goalkeeper, who taps into them, and then play into midfield and out towards the wing-back, and they played themselves out very nicely there and ended up winning a free kick.
Approaching the half hour, Qatar take the free kick square from right to left, and Abdel Karim Hassan works the ball into the feet of Hatem, but a poor touch intended to send it out to the left hand side, goes straight up play. A few whistles go around the Al Bayt Stadium for that easy surrender of possession from the hosts. It's easy to forget that Moises Caicedo, we've just seen booked there, the maturity that he's shown in the Premier League, still only 20. Preciado with a throw for Ecuador from the right hand side. Might be picked up by Valencia, trying to barrel his way down the Ecuadorian right. Poor attempted clearance, at least in the first time, and then goes straight out of play. Their nerves are getting to them, Qatar, you can see it. They're not completing more than 2 passes in a row, I would say, Dinesh.
No, I mean, it's a combination, I think, of those nerves, I'm sure, but also the energy and the pressure that Ecuador put on any side they play in this tournament. That's what they can do. They can really pressurise you into mistakes.
Senegal and the Netherlands are the other 2 teams in this group. They play tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. kickoff, live on Talksport. Joe Shannon and Leanne Sanderson will bring you that game. Throw into Qatar, just shy of the halfway line. We played half an hour in this World Cup opener on Talksport. The host Qatar trailing by a goal to 0, and under pressure as Caicedo powers forward to about 30 yards out. Thought about a shot, deflected away. Caicedo chases after the ball out to the right hand side. Preciado in support. Lovely first time ball. Valencia! 2-0 Ecuador. Fantastic header from Enner Valencia. Preciado's first time cross from the right hand side, deep to the far post, and a quite brilliant header from the man who used to ply his trade in the Premier League with West Ham and Everton. But I don't think Hammers and Toffee fans saw many efforts like that from Enner Valencia. His second, Ecuador second, Qatar 0, Ecuador 2. What an unbelievably good header this is. Put the ball in. Caicedo
fantastic. The pace on the cross just made it that little bit easier for Ené Valencia, but he had to watch it all the way because it just missed one of the Qatari defenders' heads, and I'm sure this will be checked for offside. He's very, very close as he tries to come back from a possible offside position, but the cross was wonderful. The header was so accurate, down into the corner from away from the hand of the outstretched Al Shaib. Just brilliant from Ené Valencia. He's got a brilliant leap on him, and he can also head it. Great goal.
It's 2-0, it's been confirmed. Perfectly legitimate goal, and Ené Valencia moves on to 37 international goals and his 5th World Cup strike, and what a header. And Qatar now have so much work to do. And I remind you that no Asian Federation country has ever won its opening World Cup match. Most have been lost, apart from one when Kuwait drew with the former Czechoslovakia in the World Cup of 1982 in Spain. But here come Qatar coming forward with Hassan trying an ambitious drive from 35 yards out, and it sails into the Ecuadorian fans behind that goal. Away to our right, and the South Americans have a goal kick and a 2-0 lead on Talksport.
Yeah, opened up for him. It was there, begging to be hit from Hassan, and he just at the last minute leaned back. I'm not sure he could have put it further over the crossbar, if I'm honest, but let's go back to that goal from Ené Valencia. The cross was just gorgeous, but the header was absolutely clinical. Down into the corner, skidding off the surface, no chance for the goalkeeper.
Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Dante here, high up in the Al Bayt Stadium. 12 minutes to half-time, and a foul by Roro on Estrada gives Ecuador a free kick. About 10 yards inside the Qatari half of the field. On the header, and then Roro really collided with the side of Estrada's face. That was not a pretty challenge, not particularly intentional from Roro, but certainly looked like it hurt for Estrada, but thankfully he's back on his feet, none the worse for wear. And Ecuador have another free kick, again about 10-15 yards inside the Qatari half to the left of centre. Qatar trying to hold their line beyond the 18-yard box, and one Ecuador player, I think it's Valencia, standing way offside inside the box to try and tempt them to drop just a little bit before the kick is struck by Pervis Estepina. He actually strikes it to the right-hand corner of the box. Estrada heads it across, half cleared, drops down left-hand side. It can't be brought away by Plata, and a chance for Qatar to break. But Preciado at the right back chests it down neatly and flicks it back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Afif. And the goalkeeper, Galindez, will clear up to halfway, and it'll just drop. Or Preciado spots the run of Estrada through the middle, headed away by Kuki, and then given away once again by Qatar. They need to string 4 or 5 passes together, Dean Ashton, just to get some measure of confidence.
They do, but they've been awful. They have been absolutely awful at the start of this game. In terms of the panic that's sort of set in with the attempted passes, just means they've given the ball away far too often.
Alheidos tried to take the ball off Estepinian, but he just brushed him aside.
I gave them a bit of time for nerves. Now it's just they have been really poor.
10 minutes to half-time on Talksport. Qatar 0, Ecuador 2 in this Group A opener. England take their bow tomorrow. Join Talksport breakfast from 6 a.m. with Laura and Ali, who are live with us here in Qatar, along with Jim White and Simon Jordan. Perfect way to build up to our live coverage from inside the stadium tomorrow with Adrian, Jim and Stuart Pearce for England against Iran. And another yellow card being issued, this time to Karim Boudiaf for a poor challenge on the man who's on a hat-trick at the moment, Ené Valencia, inside the centre circle. Ecuador free kick.
Yeah, he just lets the ball run across his body, takes it round the other way, and Boudiaf just comes right through the back of his left calf. rightly so, deserves a yellow card, but he's the one, isn't he, Budiak? He's been trying to G his team up, he's been trying to put his foot in and be more physical.
I imagine there'd be some West Ham and Everton fans looking at their radios and going, really, Enner Valencia, 2 goals. His record in he did produce
some fantastic moments, some very, very good goals. He is capable of that,
but he's very much the experienced head in this team, because there's so much youth in this Ecuadorian side, but they all seem to look up to him. 1 or 2 others who survived from 2014. Alexander Dominguez, one of the goalkeepers, 35 years young, and also Carlos Gruezo, who plays his club football for Augsburg in Germany, also played in Brazil. Valencia still just getting to his feet, incidentally. He missed none of the action. Will eventually be a free kick for Ecuador inside the centre circle. And in fairness to the Qatari fans, particularly those behind the goal away to our left, they haven't let up in their enthusiasm and their desire to get their team back on the front foot. But Valencia has seen to that in this opening half.
But what they have done, Ecuador, is they've lived up to the hype that they've had because of the incredible qualification campaign that they had. Only Argentina and Brazil scored more goals than them in that qualification process. They're an exciting team, they're a young team, energetic, and they've started this World Cup with no nerves.
Free kick now driven right down the centre, but a very easy catch for Al Shaib. And Qatar can try and build. And Torres having to scamper back into his defensive position, having gone forward for that free kick, only to see the ball sail over his head and everybody else isn't through to the Qatari keeper. Hassan squares the ball back for Kuki, the centre of the 3 centre-backs for Qatar. Gives it back out to the left-hand side, and Hassan approaching the halfway line, carries it over the halfway line, clips it infield for Afif, who's dropped deep once again. He just lays it off to Al-Rawi. A good ball out to Roro on this near side of right, almost level with the edge of the penalty area. Runs into Estepinian, takes the ball off him, and then it's brought away by Ibarra. Good ball in field to Caicedo, driving up to the halfway line. Threads it through the eye of a needle for Estrada. Estrada looks to get Valencia away. Across comes the defender, makes a good challenge, Al-Rawi. Slid in, went to ground, won the ball first, and ends up getting pushed in the back and wins a free kick. Qatar 0, Ecuador 2, 7 to half time.
Brilliant defending. Bassam Al-Rawi just came across at the right moment. They were totally out of position, some of their midfield players. They weren't able to cover. He came across, he won the ball, and then won his team a free kick.
He's dropping even deeper now to pick up possession, midway point of his own half. Slides it up to the halfway line for Abdelaziz Hatem. Ali's barely had a kick, the main striker for Qatar. We've seen barely anything from him. Top goal scorer in the Asian Cup 3 years ago, including the most sumptuous overhead kick in the final against Japan, but he's had nothing to feed off so far. But Ahmed trying to get down the left-hand side for Qatar. Feels he's been wrestled to the ground by Preciado, says get up. And so does the referee say get up. And it's merely a goal kick to Ecuador as we approach the 40-minute mark on Talksport. Qatar 0, Ecuador 2.
The problem is Ecuador are just physically stronger than Qatar, and so they're finding it frustrating when they lose out in those battles. I actually thought that probably was a free kick to start with. The first initial challenge, I felt like the fullback just held him up when he'd taken it past him, and then he was too strong in the second phase.
Ecuador haven't conceded a goal for over 10 and a half hours now. They've been keeping clean sheets, not scoring very much in recent times. They put that right tonight, but now they've got some defending to do, because Akram Afif's got away down the left-hand side for Qatar. Faced up by Hincapie, great defending from Jegson Mendes to get a foot in, right-hand corner of the box and get it away. But Qatar won it back, slid up to the edge of the area by Afif, but a poor first touch from Alheiros. And then he tried to receive a return pass down the left-hand side of the area from Hatem, but it's overhit. Just a little sign there from Qatar, Dean Ashton, that they do have something about them at times in a forward sense.
Yeah, Akram Afif, he's the player, isn't he? He looks like he's got real quality when the ball comes in. The touch is good, the awareness is great. He's looking to link. I'm afraid his teammates have yet to get to his level.
Ball's on halfway, Qatar win it back. Pass forward by Hassan to Boudiaf. Now Ahmed works it back into his own half once again for the number 3, Hassan. Ali drops deep to pick up possession, and it's with Afif now in the centre circle. Just lays it off to Al-Rawi, who's a bit of a decent free kick taker if Qatar get any sort of position 20-25 yards out. Ball's played forward to Hassan just shy of the halfway line. Boudiaf takes over. A couple of Ecuadorian players snapping at his heels, but he finds Hatem out to the left-hand side, but Ahmed, but across comes Angelo Preciado, who's had a good first half at right back for Ecuador. They lead 2-0.
Yeah, he's been excellent, hasn't he? Another one of their young players, only 24, the full-back, and that cross for the second goal was just magnificent. And also he's defended really well, as Ener Valencia has gone down again, but this time it looks a little bit more serious. It's actually not a bad challenge. He wins the ball, Boudiaf, but Ener Valencia just looks like he extends that knee in the challenge, and he's really struggling this game, I think, from the rest of it.
It's only now that the Ecuador physios come out to treat the number 13 for Ecuador. So it's 2-0. 3 live games tomorrow. England against Iran. Adrian will be in the stadium along with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce and Faker others. You will hear from Gareth Southgate soon after the game as possible. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff on Talksport, and then Senegal against the Netherlands is our 4 o'clock game on Talksport, with Joe Shannon and Leanne Sanderson bringing you that game, and then Nigel Adley and Dean Saunders will be your commentary team for Wales against the USA at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And that second goal for Ener Valencia, who's stricken at the moment on the pitch. He's the first player to score 5 goals in a row for a South American nation at the World Cup, because he's scored all 3 of their goals in 2014 in Brazil. He's just being led off to the far side of the pitch, moving a little awkwardly. I wonder whether we'll see him for the second half, if indeed for the rest of this first half, Dean Ashton.
I doubt it. It looked really nasty in the way that his knee just hyperextended. I hope he does, because he's been really good in the first half, and it would be a real shame for Ecuador as well to lose his quality and experience.
So ticking round towards the last minute of normal time in this first half. Ecuador lead 2-0, but they're temporarily down to 10 men with Valencia waiting to come back on. Boudiaf for Qatar, midway point of the Ecuador half. Not much on the flank sprint to use, so they go back to halfway and start again. Valencia has been allowed back on. We'll keep an eye on his movement for these remaining seconds in this first half. Roro tight to this near touchline, can't get past Estepinian. Good defending again from the Brighton man. And it's rolled up by Ibarra to Estrada, who tries a cheeky back heel to try and get Ibarra away down the left-hand side, but it goes out of play for a throw. Ticking round towards stoppage time then in this first half on Talksport. Qatar 0, Ecuador 2.
It's been good, hasn't it? Ecuador, I think, have been excellent. The energy that they show, like I said earlier, just doesn't allow a match to settle down, and the opposition as well. I'm really impressed with them.
And they're in possession with Felix Torres on the far side of the field. It's a long ball downfield. It'll just drift away. We're into 5 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half on Talksport. There have been a few injuries, and there's another one now as Homam Ahmed has gone down for Qatar just over the halfway line, but he's back on his feet because Qatar have elected to take the free kick quickly. Hassan plays the ball back to Kuki. Now it's picked up by Al-Haydos, the captain. That's the experienced Qatari midfielder. Back it goes to Afif at the halfway line, looking for an option. As it goes to Hassan once again. They've not reached the halfway line yet in this attack, Qatar. And again it's tucked back by Afif into his own half. He's trying to find some space, the Qatari number 11, to try and affect things. took back into his own half by Arawi. So we're into the 5 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half, with Ecuador looking to go in 2 goals clear. Floated out by Kuki to Hatem, who just about keeps the ball in play on the far side. Roll back infield for Boudiaf, and Ecuador keeping a very, very strong defensive shape, and Qatar finding it difficult to pick their way through it.
Yeah, again, just showing something different. Ecuador, in terms of they're not now pressing at all, they're just sitting in a really solid 4-4-2 in their own half, and just not allowing Afif to get on the ball. He's desperately trying, he's coming deep, he's going long, he's doing everything to get into the game. And they've got to try and get him into the game, Qatar, because he's by far their best player.
Ball's back on halfway with Arawi. Early ball out to Roro on this near side, the right wing back. Gives it back to Bassam Arawi. Now he tries a diagonal ball, and it's brilliantly done. To pick out Ahmad. But his ball in field was intended for Hatem and easily picked off once again by those in Ecuadorian yellow. Ball played up to halfway. Plata goes down, he was clipped, free kick. And Ecuador going to play out time at the end of this first half and go in 2-0 up.
Yeah, that's how it feels. It feels like they've settled for 2-0. They'll just look to consolidate, getting at half-time. Ene Valencia just looking down now at him. He's not moving particularly well still, is he? Looks like he's still in a bit of pain.
But he plays on, and he's looking to play off the last shoulder of the defender, looking as Estepinian picks up the ball at left back for Ecuador, but instead it's gone back to the edge of the area. Jackson Mendes fires the ball quickly out to Preciado on the right, just shy of the halfway line. Just turns away from Hatem and rolls it back to Felix Torres. Torres chips the ball into the centre circle, headed downfield for Qatar by Kuki, but straight to Jackson Mendes, who's doing a good job in front of that back 4, turns it to a back 5 of occasion. Jackson Mendes, now it's played in field for Ibarra. Very deliberate, composed passing from Ecuador at the moment. Now the ball goes into Caicedo's feet, knocks it back to Preciado. Olays now from the Ecuador fans, and his pass is completed. Away down the right hand side goes Preciado, trying to put Ahmed under pressure, but he pushes him over the touchline on the far side, and that'll be a free kick to Qatar. Qatar 0, Ecuador 2 on Talksport.
I think he's been the really bright part of this first half. Preciado, I thought that it would be Estupinian on the other side that would be getting forwards, but actually it's Preciado who obviously has replaced Brian Castillo, who's not here with the Ecuador squad, and he's been brilliant on that right hand side.
Now a foul on it's Hatem, who's injured just in front of the halfway line, so Qatar will get another free kick. Maybe one last chance to try and get the ball into the Ecuadorian box, something they've rarely done in this first period on Talksport. Ball's worked out to this near side of the right, and Roro cuts in field with a strong run. Now he's got Alheidos for the first time. Cross! Oh, and he heads it wide from 6 yards out, skinned off Ali's forehead. Perfect chance. It was a lovely ball in from Alheidos, and that's the last action of the first half. And Qatar create their best chance right on the whistle, but they go in 2 goals down to the South Americans of Ecuador. The first time we've seen a penalty open the scoring at a World Cup, courtesy of Air Valencia on the quarter hour after he was fouled by Hassan Al-Shaib. And then he got a second, a pinpoint cross from Preciado, brilliant header from Ene Valencia that the goalkeeper Al-Shaib could do nothing about. And Ecuador looking strong in this first half. Qatar the hosts with an awful lot of work to do. At the break, live on Talksport, Qatar 0, Ecuador 2. Thanks once again, Adrian. Ene Valencia is out there despite battling through those last couple of minutes, looking a little bit the worse for wear, having been clattered a few times, but he will start. There's no changes for either manager. I will remind you that World Cup hosts and co-hosts have never ever lost their first match of the World Cup. In previous finals, it's been 16 wins and 6 draws. Remember, Japan and South Korea were co-hosts in 2002. And Russia won by 5-0 4 years ago against Saudi Arabia in Moscow. I'll tell you, the second biggest win of an opening fixture at a World Cup, that goes to Italy, who beat the United States 7-1 way back in 1934. But the last 13 World Cup hosts have at least scored in their opening fixture. That's since Mexico in 1970. Can Qatar get themselves back? I think the next goal in this game is utterly crucial, Dean Ashton. Were Qatar to get it, it would make things a good deal more interesting.
Yeah, it would, but they need to perform a lot better to create those chances. They had one in at the end of the first half. They need to create more and be better on the ball.
Back underway on Talksport. Ecuador in all yellow, kicking from left to right as we look high up in the third tier of this Al Bayt Stadium. And they'll be kicking towards their supporters, also bedecked in yellow to our right hand side. Qatar in all maroon, kicking from right to left. Running through the lineups in just a moment. As the ball's back with the back four of Ecuador, I'll run you through Qatar's lineup. Al-Shaib in goal, Al-Rawi, Kuki and Hassan in the back three. Roro and Ahmed helping out as wing backs. Boudiaf, Al-Haydos and Hatem in midfield. Ali and Afif the front two. For Ecuador, Galindez the goalkeeper, making history as the oldest ever Ecuadorian player in World Cup history tonight. Preciado, Torres, Hincapié and Estepina in the back four. Plata, Mendes, Caicedo in midfield. Ibarra, Estrada and the man on a hat-trick, Valencia, up front. And the loud drum start from the Qatari supporters away to our left, trying to urge their team on in the early stages of this second half. And it's the captain, Al-Haydos, whose lovely cross set for Ali to reduce the arrears. Ali has it and knocks it down for his strike partner Afif. Midway point of the Ecuador half, he tries to thread it back through to Ali. Somewhat nervous clearance from the South Americans, and Qatar starting this second half better than the first, but the ball's ricocheted away to Romario Ibarra down the Ecuador left on the opposite side to our commentary position, rolls it across to Ena Valencia on a hat-trick at the end of the D, trying to toe poke it back through for Ibarra, who was trying to break the lines, but it just ricocheted, and Saad Al-Shaib can just pick the ball up, the Qatari goalkeeper. One of three Qataris on a yellow card going into this second half, and Caicedo also booked for Ecuador in the first.
And no let-up in the pace of the game, which is excellent. And I think some people maybe thought that it would just not live up to any expectation whatsoever, but it's been excellent.
Well, you've just raised an interesting point there, because of course Qatar have been in various training camps since June, not played any competitive football. None of them have played for their respective league sides here in Qatar, whilst Ecuadorian players have been playing all over the world in various leagues, including the Premier League. I wonder whether fitness might work in Qatar's favour as the game wears on. They've been awarded a free kick for a foul on halfway, and it'll be Abdulaziz Hatem just knocks it back to Voalem Kuki. Arawi just to his right. Afif again has dropped very deep, but it goes back from right to left to Kuki. Once again Qatar just passing the ball amongst themselves at the back, waiting for Afif to get some space. He does then in the centre circle, but then he knows he can't turn, so he has to knock it back to his centre halves again. Ahmed plays the ball in field. Afif does well to keep it away from Ena Valencia. Now Al-Rawi can move up towards the halfway line. It's a diagonal ball intended for Ahmed, but it's too long and too straight. The idea was right, but Ahmed was never going to catch that, and it goes behind for an Ecuador goal kick. 2-0 to the South Americans. We played 3 minutes in the second half on Talksport.
They've obviously started brighter, Qatar, and they're higher up the pitch, but what I don't understand is, why have Ecuador changed? I understood that at the end of the first half when they went 4-4-2 and sat in their own half just to see it out till half time, but they've started the same way. I don't understand that. 2-0, brilliant, but why not go and get the third and the fourth? You were far better in the first half when you really pressed and attacked the Qatari defence and they couldn't cope. Don't sit off them.
Ibarra trying to win a game of head tennis at the edge of the area, but that's good defending in the end by Kuki to nod it back to Al-Shaib. I think you bet your bottom dollar that Ena Valencia wants more goals. He's on a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Here is Hassan for Qatar, out to Ahmed, the left wing back. Plays the ball in field. It's knocked up to Ali. And a poor first touch from Almoez Ali. Had that big chance right at the end of the first half. Ball's back with Hincapié. Estepinian now takes over, the Brighton left back, looking to release Valencia down the left hand side, but this is a miscue pass from Estepinian this time. Qatar have a throw on the far side of the field, 2-0 to Ecuador.
Unless they feel that they just want to defend the middle part of the pitch, and then when they do win it back, then they can be the ones that counter-attack. I don't really see why they would feel like they needed to change after such a good first half. And you just wonder whether the Qatari players just needed that half-time, needed their manager to settle them down, because they were really poor in that first half.
Felix Sanchez will have had plenty to say to his charges. I'm sure Gustavo Alvaro will have also been quite pleased with his team's performance. And Ecuador coming forward with Ibarra, tried to cut it back to the edge of the area for Plata. But Qatar did enough to get the ball out of harm's way and didn't want to throw on the far side. Still 2-0 to Ecuador.
Michael Estrada's just been brilliant at times. He's picked up good positions. He's left Ene Valencia up there on his own, and he's gone and picked up really clever positions just either side of the full-backs, and then he jinked his way through and played it through to Plata, who then picked out the wrong pass. He's been a nuisance.
Qatar working the ball out to this near side, the left, and Mohamed Ahmed gives the ball back to halfway, and Hassan Kuki looking for an option again, tries to hit into our ball right to left, but it was blocked by Valencia, and Ecuador can try and counter-attack. And Estepinian moving up at pace down the left hand side, tries to play down the left hand side of the box for Ibarra. Good covering though from the Qatar defence, and then a poor pass straight to Caicedo. Flicking to his right for Preciado, who fancied a bit of a Josimar from the World Cup in '82 as a right back, but it sailed over the crossbar, his effort on goal, and it's a goal kick to Qatar. 2-0 Ecuador. Dean Ashton.
What I did like about that though was he really shaped up for the cross, and I believed he was going to cross it, and I'm pretty sure Al Shahid thought the same, and then looked to strike it towards goal. It was awful, but I like the intent.
Qatar, Asian Cup champions in 2019. They did pretty well at the 2021 Gold Cup as well. They only went out to the United States, very, very late goal in Texas. But in 2021, I mentioned they lost 4-0 to the Republic of Ireland. They also lost 4-0 to Serbia and drew with Azerbaijan and Luxembourg. So when they've come up against opposition from different territories, they've not always found it easy to adapt their style to the opposition that they're playing. And they trail 2-0 here, the hosts, with 7.5 minutes gone in the second half on Talksport in the Al Bayt Stadium here, about a 40-minute drive due north from the capital city of Doha. Lovely first touch from Gonzalo Plata to get away from a couple of challenges. Plays the ball into the area. Oh, it bisects Estrada and Valencia. Sensational run and cross. Going out to the left-hand side, Gonzalo Plata made room for a cross, but the ball was behind Estrada, in front of Valencia. Neither could get the touch. 2-0 Ecuador.
Absolutely outrageous from Plata. Just the first touch in midfield, and then he goes past three players as if they're not there, just weaving his way through, keeping his balance when he was challenged as well, and then picks out a brilliant cross. And Estrada and Valencia, very disappointing. One of you's got to take charge there. They've got themselves mixed up, and neither have gone for it. And either could have.
Yeah,
disappointing.
Gonzalo Plata plays for Valladolid in Spain, but he's one of many of these Ecuadorian players who came through the Independiente del Valle club, which is seen as one of the most progressive clubs for youth development in Ecuadorian football. 6 of the starting lineup tonight have played for Independiente. Just the 6 of the Qatari starting lineup play for the Al Sadd club, who were coached until recently by Xavi, now of course in charge at Barcelona. Back underway on Talksport with Qatar working the ball back to their goalkeeper, Saad Al Sheikh. And he clips the ball up to halfway, claims for a foul, by Roro, and he's been awarded that free kick for a touch by Estepinian. Qatar take the free kick short to Afif, who's just shy of the halfway line, right in the centre circle. Options left and right. Clips it to his left for Hassan. Hassan turns away from Plata. Afif under pressure, helped out by Hassan at the end. The route to goal was cut off. The ball's played into midfield, and a poor touch allows Ecuador to bring it away. First time ball through to Ibarra at the edge of the area. Ibarra pushed out by Al-Shaib, not too convincingly, and Qatar hook it clear. And Romario Ibarra might be a little disappointed he didn't make a better of that. Valencia charging down the near side, the right, going towards the corner flag. And wins a throw for Ecuador right by that corner flag. 2-0, the South Americans in front. 10 gone in the second half.
Yeah, and he may well have his head in his hands, Ibarra, because this is a great chance. But I'm thinking, why are you coming back onto your right foot? There was so much space for you to just drag that across and go on your left-hand side. Instead, you came back inside, and then it was easily read by Al-Shaib.
Preciado with a throw, tries to hurl it to the corner of the 6-yard box. Qatar get it half clear. Afif knocks it down, might get it back via a ricochet. Looks like he was fouled there by Mendes. Yellow card for Jegson Mendes. Now this Italian referee, Daniele Orsato, he does not issue the yellow cards quickly. Barely had Afif gone to the ground that the yellow card had been issued.
That is a nasty challenge, though.
Yeah, right on the right shin pad of.
It's a terrible challenge. It really is. He's not close to the ball. It's above the ankle almost. Terrible challenge.
So that's 5 players in the book now. 3 for Qatar, 2 for Ecuador, and Qatar have themselves a free kick, which again they wanted to take short, but the referee wasn't ready for them. Now he is, and we're back underway. Don't forget Talksport Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6. Laura and Ali live with us in Qatar, 6 till 10, and then White and Jordan will be joined by the PSG owner Nasser El Galafi during the course of their show. They caught up with the PSG owner on their first day in Qatar. You'll hear that interview, as well as Graham Souness and Martin Keough joining the boys from 10 in the morning before our dedicated coverage from inside the stadium tomorrow from noon. England against Iran. Adrian will be there hosting. Jim Proudfoot, Stuart Pearce, your commentary team, and Faker others getting the word from the touchline and speaking to the headline makers at the end of the game. That's England-Iran, the first of 3 live games on Talksport tomorrow. Senegal-Netherlands in this group that we're watching, with Ecuador 2-0 up against Qatar. And then we round off the day with the Welsh up against the USA. Nigel Adderley and Dean Saunders, former Welsh international, will be your commentary team for that one. But it's Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you in our bite. We played 57 minutes on Talksport. Ecuador, again, just comfortable to pass the ball around and wait for an opening, wait for Qatar to commit themselves. Estepinian inside his own half, plays the ball into the feet of Caicedo. And now it's Mendes, who was just booked a moment ago, plays a 1-2 with Plata. Felix Torres now takes over. The impressive Preciado, the right back. The ball goes in field, and then a foul on Plata by Hatem. No yellow card for the Qatari number 6, although he's going to be spoken to and told to calm down by the Italian referee. I don't know, Dean, that wasn't much different to the challenge we just saw on a feed that did earn a yellow.
No, exactly. I mean, both teams are almost taking it in turns to have the ball or to sit deep and defend. I mean, we can't underestimate still how hot it is within this stadium. I know before the tournament, the talk of air-conditioned stadiums, and maybe that thought process might have made you think that you would, when you walk into a hotel room when you're away, how cool it can feel. It's nothing like that. We can feel a slight breeze over our shoulders, but I'm sure at pitch level still be very, very hot.
Well, there are air conditioning portals at pitch level as well as way above us in the top tier of this stand. It'd be interesting to know what kind of effect that they do have, those ones down at pitch level. But Ecuador, used to playing at altitude, used to playing in searing heat, are 2-0 up here as we approach the hour mark on Talksport. And Qatar, need to come up with something. Felix Sanchez, the manager, stands at the edge of his technical area. No sign of any replacements just yet. A few warming up down to our far left-hand side. For the moment, it's the same 11s that started the match. As the ball's floated through to Hatem on halfway. Ahmed trying to make a run down the left-hand side. Good interception by Preciado to put it out for a Qatari throw. About 20 yards inside the Ecuadorian half. But Preciado's hurt himself in making that challenge. It's just gone to ground, holding his left knee. Not happy, or is it left thigh? Not happy at all. Preciado just been told to stay down by his teammate Jason Mendes, and he's going to need some treatment here, the right back.
Yeah, he doesn't look comfortable, does he? I didn't quite see what happened within the challenge.
Well, he wasn't challenged. There was nobody around him when he slid in. He wasn't being fouled or being trodden on. Maybe just felt something tweak slightly when he made the clearance to put it out for a throw. But he's been excellent in this first half and into the second for Ecuador.
It's a strange one.
Pretty innocuous, wasn't it? Looking at the replay that we've just seen on our monitors in front of us. But we're perched high up with a real bird's eye view of this game below us, where the Maroon of Qatar have got a hell of a lot of work to do in their opener. I remind you that no host or co-host has ever lost their opening World Cup fixture. Preciado's back on his feet, just going to come to this near touchline. We'll see whether he's going to be okay to come back on. And play restarts with a Qatari throw. Hatem plays the ball back to Kuki. Now Al-Rawi. Picked up again by Kuki, who can move into the Ecuador half. Plays it left for Hassan. Hassan with a diagonal ball up to the edge of the area. Decent ball. Heads go up. It's headed just wide by Roro, who come across from the right wing back area. Got a good connection on the header. Went about a yard wide of Galindez's right hand post. Goal kick Ecuador. 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, he really does sort of hang this one up, doesn't he, Hassan, for Roro to go and attack it. Wins it cleanly, just couldn't direct it on the target. And was Ali there? Was he really alive to that? He maybe could have glanced it in if he was anticipating it, but he wasn't.
Did score against Ghana in a friendly in August, did Roro. Pedro Correa, naturalised Portuguese player. 2-0 Ecuador lead. The ball's back with the Qatari keeper. Preciado's back out there, the Ecuador right back. Looks to have shaken off whatever it was that was troubling him a month or so ago. Just over an hour gone in Qatar, live at the World Cup with this opening fixture that is most definitely going against the hosts. They've got half an hour or so to do something about it. Al-Rawi passes back to his fellow centre-half Kuki, midway point of his own half. Hatem picks it up just shy of the halfway line. Ali started making a run, but the ball's hit across to Roro, and him and Ali both went for the same ball. And the offside flag went up against one of them, and it's a free kick to Ecuador just ahead of their own 18-yard line.
And maybe that is something they can look at. It was actually Ali that was offside, not Roro in the end, so Ali shouldn't have really been involved anyway. Surely he should have known that Roro was coming across to head that, and actually that's maybe something they could look at, is hitting that diagonal, feeding off that with good anticipation from the forwards.
Free kick's going to be taken by Hernan Galindez. Only made his debut in 2021 in the Copa America, despite being 35 years of age. Plays for the Orcas club in Ecuador. He's really had to bide his time to wait for his international bow. This is his 13th cap tonight. He's been fighting for the #1 jersey with Dominguez. But he's had very little to do in this opening 63 minutes. Ecuador in possession on the halfway line with Estepinian. Infield to his bright teammate Caicedo. And back it goes to Hincapié. Spots Torres in a bit of space towards the halfway line. Preciado gives it back to Felix Torres. Comes to Hincapié. Afif looks to narrow the angle, and a hurried Nkapie into passing the ball straight out of play for a Qatari throw. Dean Ashton.
It just feels like that both teams are kind of waiting. You know, obviously Ecuador don't have to push for anything, and Qatar haven't so far. Almost like they're both waiting for just something to happen in the game. I think really Qatar are going to make their minds up of whether they are really going to have a go to get back into it, and that might open things up. And Ecuador don't seem like they're too fussed at the moment. They're quite happy with the way the game's going.
Qatar with a throw on the right-hand side. Don't forget to download the Talksport app to your smartphone, whether it's Apple or Android. And once you've done that, you can look on the Live Games tab at the bottom of the screen, and that'll bring up all the details about all the live games we've got for you from the World Cup. Also, from back home in the EFL and the FA Cup, the EFL Trophy next week, Ipswich, Portsmouth, and also Kings Lynn against Stevenage in the FA Cup second round. Will be live on the Talksport network, as well as every game from this FIFA World Cup. 3 games tomorrow, all live, all with us. Keep this frequency locked in. England, Iran, Senegal, Netherlands, Wales, USA. But what of Qatar, Ecuador? We've still got just over a quarter of this game to go. Same as it was at half-time, 2-0 to Ecuador. Afif, a bit more space than he realised as he picked the ball up just over the halfway line. Sent out to the right-hand side for Roro. He tucks it back for Boudiaf. And Kuki, now the centre-half, has it on the halfway line. Hatem has come short, just away from a couple of plays. Flicks it to Hassan. Another chance for a cross from Hassan. Deep, way to the far post. Chested down by Roro. He's faced up by Ibarra, tries to get the cross in, blocked by Ibarra, trying to knock it back to Afif. Caicedo couldn't keep it in play. Qatar have a throw, almost level with the edge of the Ecuadorian penalty area, but there's going to be a change before that, and another Brighton player is going to come onto the field, whether it's to replace a Brighton player, but Jeremy Sarmiento is going to be on in a moment. But he's going to have to wait until the ball's next out of play, as Qatar have it with Ali trying to lay it off to a teammate. It actually broke on halfway for Plata, trying to barge his way through a couple of challenges, and he's won a free kick. Wants to take it quickly, but I think this may be the opportunity where Gustavo Alvaro is going to make the change, and indeed Sarmiento is going to be on. And the player coming off is Romario Ibarra, who makes way for the man from Brighton, just again, like I said, just 20 years of age. Young player of the year for Brighton and Hove Albion last year. Actually played in the World Cup qualifiers before he made his Premier League debut. And Ibarra comes off, and Sarmiento on, and we've got a quarter of the game to go. Ecuador 2-0 up.
I don't think there's anything in particular with that, unless he wants to slightly change the system, but Sarmiento looks like he's going across onto that left-hand side where Ibarra was, so no change, just an opportunity again for us to see another Brighton player.
Same blue boots by the look of it as well as Ibarra. So our first change, and Ibarra wasn't one of those players who was booked. Caicedo and Mendes are the two Ecuador players on a yellow card. Here's Preciado, back for Jackson Mendes. Passes it across to Nkapie. It's being closed down by the Qatari forwards. Al-Haydos was the man trying to close down the space. Torres, ball into halfway, laid off by Plata. Lovely little flick from Plata. And now Estrada looks to release Preciado down the right-hand side. Preciado, ball down the right-hand side of the box. Plata trying to keep it in play. Another fantastic flick to keep it from going behind. But Qatar win it back. Ball's at the edge of their own penalty area. Ball runs across Afif's body. It won't run for Almoez Ali. And so the yellow shirts of Ecuador have it back again. As we tick round towards 69 minutes gone on Talksport. Ecuador firmly in control of this World Cup Group A opener. And here is Plata into the area looking for Valencia, who's on a hat-trick, remember, but it rolls away from him. and it's cleared away down the Qatari left, looking for Ali, but he won't win that header. Very comfortable for Felix Torres to win in the air.
Yeah, another player to stand out. Plata, been excellent. He's exciting, isn't he? Wonderful left foot, can dribble, strong.
A bit of space for Qatar to operate in. Boudia, midway point of the Ecuador half. Poor touch from Alheidos, the captain. Easily dispossessed by Sarmiento for his first involvement in the game.
He's been poor, hasn't he?
He has.
Alheidos. He's not been able to get into the game at all.
Vastly experienced. I mean, he's won 168 caps. Tops the all-time list for Qatar. Still only 31. Made his debut back in 2008. But he has been ineffective, I think is probably the right word to use.
He just hasn't even got into the game. FIFA's at least, really gone and wandered to try and get on the ball. We saw that cross from actually Alheidos right at the end of the first half. It was a brilliant cross. So where's more moments of that been if he's got that quality?
There's a double change being ready for Qatar, but they won't make it yet because Ecuador have a free kick. About 15 yards inside the Qatar half to the left of centre. Estepinian, as always, drives it in over the head of Estrada. Felix Torres tries to keep it in play, but it's whacked away out to this near side for a throw-in for Ecuador. Will that signal the double change? I think it will. And the player we were just talking about, Alheidos, is making way, Dean Ashton. That's to allow Mohamed Wad to come on to replace him. And the captain's armband goes to the goalkeeper, Al-Shed. Alheidos comes off, Mohamed Wad comes on.
Well, the manager, Felix Sanchez, feels the same then, doesn't he?
And Almoez Ali, who's had so little to do, had that big chance at the end of the first half that he failed to take. He's been replaced by Mohamed Muntari for his 54th cap. Scored on his debut against Estonia back in 2014. Qatar could do with some of that. So two changes made by Felix Sanchez, but here come Ecuador again, looking for a third goal. Sarmiento jigging down the left-hand side, trying to get away from Roro. He was just clipped by Roro and went to ground, went down in instalments, Sarmiento, but he was caught. Free kick. And a chance to work the ball into the box.
Sure, there was a lot there. I mean, yeah, there was a touch, but still, he's allowed to challenge, but he actually clips his own heels and then goes down, and the referee, I'm afraid, has fallen for that one.
It's now over 11 hours since Ecuador conceded a goal. Highly impressive. They've got tough tests against Senegal and Netherlands to come. Penny for their thoughts actually right now. Sat in our hotels watching this Ecuadorian performance, Dean Ashton.
Absolutely. To be able to win their first match, if they do go on to do that, does put the pressure on, doesn't it, those two?
Free kick, left-hand corner of the penalty area for Ecuador. Just a one-man wall of Afif stood in front of Pervis Estepinian. Clutch of Ecuadorian players just inside the 18-yard line, waiting for the delivery. In it comes, headed out to the near post by Muntari, his first duty since coming on for Qatar. Back out to the left-hand side, and Estepinian trying to make room for another cross, but Roro puts it out of play. It's going to be a throw instead to Ecuador. Taken quickly and thrown back to Hincapié. Jackson Mendes in the centre circle, the last man for Ecuador for the moment. Squares it back left for Hincapié. Estepinian, always happy to receive the ball. Works it back to Mendes once more. Muntari looks to close down the space. Square ball to Felix Torres. Preciado gives the ball back to his centre-half Torres, midway point of his own half. Just exchanging passes for the moment, and back it goes to Galindez, who's had a very quiet night in the Ecuadorian goal. Fires the ball up to halfway, but Sarmiento couldn't control it. A little bit lazy from Roro, but he got away with it because Estrada ran into him and toe-poked the ball out of play, but he could have just nicked it off him and made a beeline for goal, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, you just mentioned about the goalkeeper, and that'll be so disappointing so far, Felix Sanchez, that his team haven't recorded a shot on target. They haven't tested the opposition goalkeeper, and I think that's that's why he had to make the changes. I mean, there wasn't anything happening.
And here's Boudiaf for Qatar on the halfway line, plays it right to Al-Rawi. Roro infield to Hatem. Boudiaf once more. Hatem looks for Roro. Level with the edge of the area, swirling cross, goes all the way to the far side, but it's picked up by Ahmed. Plays a 1-2 with freshly introduced Wild. Now Afif, which have a go from 30 yards, got right underneath it, and it went over the bar. And that's as good a chance as Qatar created in this second period. It stays 2-0 to Ecuador on Talksport, just over a quarter of an hour to go.
Yeah, really good position that Wad picked up there, and then he was able to feed Afif. It's the first time he's been anywhere near the attacking goal. Decided to take the strike, and he's so disappointed in himself because there was no one near him. At least test the goal, at least test the goalkeeper. It was another effort that goes wildly over the crossbar.
And once again, Enner Valencia is down, clutching the back of his right knee. He's back on his feet as the physios finally get to him. I wonder whether that is finally it for the man that scored 2 goals for his country tonight. Yeah, he's taking the captain's armband off and giving it at least at first to Michael Estrada. But the Ecuadorian fans fully appreciating what their captain's done for them tonight. A penalty on 15 minutes. A wonderful bullet header just after the half-hour mark. And that's why Ecuador are 2-0 up.
Yeah, he's been the difference, that's for sure. And they'll just hope now that doesn't seize up, that doesn't become a problem. He did well to carry on, to be fair to him. Bravery from the captain. Let's hope he's still available for Ecuador in the coming games.
And Jose Cifuentes of Los Angeles FC is coming on to replace him, so a midfielder for a striker. So that means that Plata's going to play a little further forward in this rejigged Ecuador lineup. Cifuentes will be sitting in the centre of midfield along with Mendes. What we have, we hold, I think that says, from Ecuador with that change.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, most definitely.
Ian Dancer and Dean Ashton with you at the Al Bayt Stadium. We've got 14 minutes left on Talksport in the World Cup. Ecuador 2-0 up, trying to thread it through to Plata, but there was a foul by Cifuentes there. And Qatar get a free kick, and a bit of urgency required from Qatar at this point. They wanted to take the free kick quickly. So Fif's going to get booked for a foul on Plata on this near side, and that's the frustration starting to come to the surface again for the foul on Plata by Akram Afif.
Yeah, he was just a bit slow, and then again another example of the pressing that Ecuador have within their side. You haven't got time to take a bad touch or to dawdle on the ball. They'll be at you straight away, and the player just took the ball off him and he stood right on his foot, Afif.
So a free kick to be taken by Moses Caicedo, driving into the edge of the area. Qatar get it clear, chance for a counter-attack here, but Afif won't get to the loose ball. It's tidied up by Jackson Mendes, who's been everywhere he's been needed to be in defensive midfield for Ecuador tonight.
Yeah, he has, and he's filled in as well. He's filled in when one of the centre-backs is happy to go out and start the play. He'll just then sit into that almost sweeper role and then back into midfield again.
Ball with Mendes, looks for Hincapié, and he looks to release Sarmiento over the top, and Estepinian's in behind as well, sends it across the face of the goal. Sarmiento over the bar, sinks to his knees, offside flag's gone up anyway, sparing Sarmiento those blushes, sank to the ground after floating the effort over the bar from about 15 yards out. Big chance for Ecuador to make it 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I put it over on purpose, lads. I knew I was offside. I think that's what he'll be saying, because it's a great chance. The defender blocks it. It's there. 7 yards out. Just got to side foot it in. It's amazing, isn't it, when the pressure of such games like this are there. A simple finish. He just makes a total mess of it and scoops it up and over the crossbar. Luckily, offside flag.
She drives it downfield. Sarmiento will be happy to be back in action for Brighton when the Premier League kicks off again on Boxing Day. We have every Premier League game on the Talksport network when it returns on Boxing Day, plus the games on the 27th and the 28th of December as well. The likes of Brentford, Spurs, Leeds against Manchester City and Villa against Liverpool. That's when the Premier League recommences after a World Cup winner is discovered on the 18th of December here in Qatar, where Ecuador 2-0 up, steaming forward with Gonzalo Plata. Lovely ball nicked in field. Cifuentes rolls it through, attempting to find Estepinian. He will get it eventually, left hand corner of the box, but the ball ricocheted and dribbled through to him somewhat. Mendes infield for Cifuentes. Lovely little through ball to try and get Plata in behind, but goalkeeper came out and claimed it well at the edge of his 6-yard box. Collided with Plata, but he's none the worse for it. 2-0 Ecuador.
When they do look to play Ecuador, I know I've talked about their energy and their pressing, but actually on the ball, they're showing real quality. Plata again involved, and Cifuentes playing a really clever pass just in behind. It just had a tiny little bit too much on it for Plata, but again, they've really impressed me.
Former England striker Dean Ashton, you can hear there alongside me, Ian Dancer on Talksport. Adrian's here too, who'll be with us at full time. And Adrian's watching England tomorrow. We'll be in the stadium live from noon, but all the build-up starts with Talksport breakfast in the morning with Laura and Ali live in Qatar. So too White and Jordan from 10 till noon. And Felix Sanchez is not a happy camper down beneath us as a slice clearance from a Qatari defender goes straight out for a throw. And Ecuador with 10 minutes to go, in fact 9 minutes to go, forgive me, are coasting towards a victory. There's a few empty seats that are starting to emerge around us, Dean, from fans. Well, quite a few empty seats. I'm being slightly euphemistic there. Quite a few from those who've decided they've seen enough. Now here's Caicedo down the right-hand side of the penalty area, held up for a moment, keeps it in play. Mendes plays a 1-2, keeps it going, and then he was fouled, Mendes, by Mohamed Wahab, and that'll be a free kick for Ecuador.
Starting to enjoy themselves, aren't they? It's got that feeling now that whatever Qatar was going to bring in the second half has just not materialised, and actually they're growing in confidence again, Ecuador, to see this game out. They've been far too good for Qatar, and I think the Netherlands and Senegal are going to have a real test against this Ecuador side.
That makes that game tomorrow all the more intriguing, knowing that they'll want to those two nations want to try and keep pace with Ecuador. That's our 4 p.m. offering live tomorrow. Free kick sent in from Plata. It's too deep and just goes out on the full for a goal kick to Qatar, who've got just over 7 minutes to try and rescue this World Cup opener against this young Ecuadorian side. We've just seen a picture of Eder Valencia with a bit of ice pack round his troublesome right knee. It's the back of the knee he was holding, wasn't it, when he was having problems? But he must have been caught 3 or 4 times, certainly in the first half.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what happens over the coming days, because I mean, he carried on. I thought he was finished at the time, but he still carried on.
Cifuentes just went off the field as he tried to keep the ball in play. By the time he was back on the field of play, he'd lost possession to Hassan and gave away a free kick.
The referee's assistant was in his way. He was sort of running off the pitch, and the assistant was in his way, otherwise he might have got to it.
Wasn't quite like Gareth Bale at the Copa del Rey, was it? Don't forget Gareth Bale, will he start? I'm sure he will. for Wales against the USA tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Nigel Adderley and Dean Saunders, your commentators, and Lawrence Moore will be there as well, speaking to all the headline makers pitch side at the end of the game. But here in the Al Bayt Stadium, time running out for Qatar. 6 minutes to go on Talksport. Qatar 0, Ecuador 2. A thoroughly professional performance from Gustavo Alvaro's Ecuador. 60 years of age, Gustavo Alvaro has been watching the last few World Cups for Ecuadorian media. So he's been sat in the stands watching previous tournaments. He's bringing all that experience from high up to bear as a coach. Threw in the youth at the start of the 18-game World Cup qualifiers in South America, and that decision was justified by coming fourth, and it appears to have been justified by the way they've started this World Cup as well. As more home fans head for the exits. Remember, they've still got Senegal and the Netherlands to come. Here comes Sarmiento for Ecuador. Lovely through ball, just gets ahead of Estrada. Can he keep it in play at the dead ball? I know he can't. Trying to hook him back across. Just seemed to be running in treacle for a moment. Michael Estrada just couldn't get to the ball in time. Sarmiento pushed forward and looked threatening.
No, it was a poor pass. Sarmiento, I mean, they were 4 against 3. He picked the right pass. It just needed to be executed. He just overhit it, and then, like you say, Estrada found out.
Muntari, oh, what a shot on the roof of the net. Excellent opportunity for Mohamed Muntari. The ball, simple, just hit long downfield. Muntari got in behind his defender and lashed the shot goalwards from near the right-hand corner of the box, and it landed on the roof of the net and caught out of view of the supporters who thought it had gone in.
Do you know what? He makes a fantastic arcing run from the left-hand side right across and over and behind the left centre-back, and he takes it first time. It's a brilliant effort that just seems to skim the back of the top of the crossbar and into that netting.
That run and effort reminded me a little bit of that great goal that Pashtan Kasami scored for Fulham in the Premier League not so long ago. But it just landed on the roof of the net, narrowly over. That's as close as Qatar have come in this entire game. And we've got 4 minutes of normal time to go. Here they come again with Ahmed. Left-hand side, puts an early ball into the box, and defending to do for Ecuador. Goes over the head of Roro. Afid picks it at right-hand side. The cross is deflected up in the air. Good claim by Galindez at his near post under pressure from Roro to avert the danger for Ecuador, and they maintain their 2-0 lead.
I mean, what a goal that would have been in the opening game for Qatar. Their first World Cup goal, that would have been for Muntari. Great effort.
But it stays 2-0 to Ecuador with 3 minutes of normal time left on Talksport. Wahab lets the ball drift out of play, and Ecuador will not be in any great hurry to get this ball back into play from this near side. In fact, it's going to be Preciado to take it from right next to where his manager's standing. I think there's another double change being readied by Ecuador down beneath us. In the meantime, Preciado takes the throw. Infield to Sarmiento. Good collect and turns away from his man. Plata in the right wing. Gets it back to Sarmiento to the dead ball line. Hits the cross against the defender, and it went out of play for a corner, did it? Yes, it is indeed a corner, says the Italian assistant. Only their second corner of the game, Ecuador, and they have it with just over 2 minutes to go, and they lead 2-0.
They've sent the 2 centre-backs forward. They don't need to, but they're comfortable, it seems.
Let's see what Estepinian can deliver from this set piece. Left-footed in, swinger to come from the right-hand side for Ecuador. Man-to-man marking pretty much from Qatar as it's sent in by Plata and cleared away by the first defender and out of play for a throw. Disappointing effort with that corner kick from Gonzalo Plata.
Yeah, I can imagine he's one of those players, isn't he, Plata? Really frustrating to play against. Great if you're a fan as well, though, because he brings you some really exciting moments. But it's either great or awful.
So it's going to be another throw for Preciado. Alan Franco's being ready down beneath us. And so too Kevin Rodriguez. And right hand side, Gonzalo Plata runs into Ahmed, who brings the ball forward. Good strong run from Homam Ahmed for Qatar, but now he's got 3 Ecuador players around him and ends up winning a throw. Here comes the double change for Ecuador, and Michael Estrada is coming off, and Kevin Rodriguez is coming on. Rodriguez, who only had 1 cap before and yet to play in a competitive game for Ecuador, so he's going to get a few minutes here for Estrada, who looks a little sheepish at being asked to come off at this point. And Caicedo is the other player to be withdrawn. And it looks like, Disney Franco, Alan Franco, who plays his club football in Argentina on loan from Atletico Mineiro in Brazil. He's going to come on wearing number 21 for these last few minutes. Ecuador lead 2-0 live on Talksport. England get their tournament going tomorrow. We're into 5 additional minutes at the end of this game. 5 minutes for Qatar to do something to at least give the few remaining supporters they have inside the Al Bayt Stadium that little bit of hope. Kuki sends the ball across the halfway line to Bassam Al-Rawi. Diagonal ball, very nicely hit to pick out Ahmed on the left hand side. Brings it down, Wahab is in support. Being closed down by the right back, Preciado. And they win it back, Ecuador. Cifuentes just dwells on the ball a little too long and allowed Qatar to win it back. Boudiaf finds Hatem, centre of the Ecuadorian half, plays a 1-2 with Afif, gives it back to Afif. Now they've worked it out to the right wing between the pair of them. Afif trying to come in between 2 players, it's been won back, and Sarmiento gets the ball up to halfway, wriggles away from a couple of challenges, lays it off to Franco for his first involvement. Franco works the ball back to Hincapié, and suddenly the idea of a counter-attack doesn't appeal to Ecuador anymore, and they're just happy to play it around inside their own half. 2-0 up.
They've been so good, Ecuador. They really have in every department, whether that is being solid defensively, whether that is then counter-attacking or being able to play through. They have got a bit of everything.
So many empty seats around us now in the Al Bayt Stadium, from those who came with so much hope to support their country, but been taught a bit of a footballing lesson at this level by a very streetwise Ecuador side.
And that's the point, at this level. This is the absolute elite level, and it's a big step up. There's no doubt about that for Qatar. They'll be better for it, the experience, I'm sure, in the next game, but they're not easy.
And Ecuador in possession on halfway with Preciado. Ball goes out of play, a little wasteful from Ecuador. Qatar have a throw. We played 2 minutes of the minimum 5 that have been added on. Push by Rodriguez inside the box gives Qatar a free kick and a chance to clear the ball downfield. Now here's Bassam Al-Rawi, not had a chance to show what he can do with free kicks from close range, and he passes the ball straight out of play. That just sums up Qatar's night, that pass from Al-Rawi.
Doesn't it just? They've been really, really disappointing on the ball, Qatar. Just that one tiny bit of quality at the end of that first half. Would that have made a difference, do you think, if he'd have headed that in, Ali?
Would have been a very different half-time team talk for Felix Sanchez, that's for sure. Hincapié the back for Ecuador. Slightly heavy touch from Mendes. Allows Qatar to win it back. Wahab looking to release Ahmed down the left-hand side of the box, but he played it too straight. It was comfortably picked off by Felix Torres. Plata inside his own half for Ecuador. Lays it off for Mendes. Stroked out to Estepinian. Now Sarmiento, his Brighton teammate, out on the left-hand side, cutting in field. Plata receives it now. Estepinian at the left-hand corner of the area. Sets his man away and they win a corner. Right at the end of the game, as the ball's hit against Arawi, Ecuador win their third corner of the game. And they are still sending the centre-backs forward, despite the fact that it's 2-0 and we're in the last knockings.
Well, everyone wants a World Cup goal, don't they? Everyone wants that in the scrapbook.
So Estepinian with this latest corner kick from the left-hand side for Ecuador, in front of the travelling yellow-shirted away support. Delighted with what they've seen. In comes the corner. Felix Torres goes up, went just over his head, and then bounced behind. I think it was Rodriguez who was coming in. He headed it well wide in the end, and it just ends up being a goal kick to Qatar.
Well, you're right. I think actually it was Torres that thought he was going to get the first header. Rodriguez didn't know it hit him in the face.
One last chance for Qatar maybe to come forward with Hassan. Plays the ball long down the left-hand side looking for Afif. And Torres touches it behind for a corner kick. I mean, that Qatar's first corner of the game. Right at the end. And Afif has dashed across to this near side to take it. Right-footed in-swinging to come from the Qatari number 11. What can they make of this set piece? In it comes to the near post, headed out comfortably, and the referee blows the final whistle. And there's a difference between fantasy and reality. The fantasy of being picked for a squad to represent your country at your first ever World Cup, and then the reality of coming up against top level opposition. That's what's happened to Qatar tonight against Ecuador. The match effectively won inside the first half hour with a double from Enner Valencia, once of West Ham and Everton, a penalty on 15 after he was brought down by Saad Al-Shaib, the goalkeeper, and then a really firm header just after the half hour from Angelo Preciado's lovely first-time cross from the right-hand side. Qatar might dwell on the big chance that Almoez Ali had just before half-time when he couldn't connect with a header from a right-wing cross, but they offered very little in the second half to test Hernan Galindez on the night where he becomes Ecuadorian's oldest ever player at a World Cup. 3 points to the South Americans in Group A. Qatar have to lick their wounds and come back again against Senegal and the Netherlands in the rest of this group. But for the first time ever, a host has lost their opening game at a World Cup. It finished at the